Hey yo, what up? Going on? What's good? Realest one, slide accordingly. Mr. Slide accordingly. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, support a real one. I'm back. Nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? So my bad. My apologies. So this particular situation, when a man and a woman are in a situation, whether they live together or not, of course, they're looking out for each other, helping each other pay each other's bills. They want to make sure both of them got somewhere to lay their head, because not everybody's at that stage where they're living together, where they're married, where they're under one roof, right? So, of course, male look out for his lady. Lady look out. Well, some ladies don't believe in returning that. Some ladies don't feel like they should have to do anything when it comes to the other man, which I think is sad or whatever the case. It's not about having to do anything, but it's about, some women will tell you, like, I know I don't have to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm a woman and I know I could easily sit here and say, yo, you supposed to be the provider. You do what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? As long as I'm jumping on that thing and I'm making sure you eating, listen, you handle that, right? But there's some woman out here that don't mind like returning the favor financially for their men. But anyway, she shared the reason why she broke up with her boyfriend. What she did was she screenshotted a cash app that he had sent her because she needed, I guess, rent money, right? She asked him to help her out with the rent money. And she screenshotted what he had sent her. Huh? And she said, on today's episode of Reasons to Stay Single, and then she posted what the man had sent her. Huh? The man sent her $20 to put on the rent. Before I go any further, just take that in real quick. You don't necessarily have to jump to any conclusions, but I'm just letting you know. She needed help with her rent. He sent her $20. Now, the first thing you would say is, nigga, are you sick? Are you out your motherfucking mind? We talking about rent money. We ain't talking about gas. We talking where to stay. We talking about somebody we lay our head at. You know what I'm saying? Right? What message he sent was, I'm trying for real. That's what he said. He attached a message to the Cash App. And he said, I'm trying for real. Comments, it was saying, well, at least bro tried. Of course, I'm sure you probably had some people who was like, damn, but you even had men saying, what's she going to do with that, bro? What, you really sent her that or whatever? But according to the message that he sent, his whole thing was, I didn't really have it right now. I sent what I could, because mind you, these is not two people who are living together. They got their own situation. They got their own thing going. This man, he's paying his own bills too. And he basically saying, I'm going to help out as much as I could. Right now, I only got that $20. Most people find that type of thing funny. And some people feel like you crazy, like you wrong for sending that little measly at $20. The woman talking about she need help with her rent. But they're missing the part that he's saying he didn't have it. He's not saying if he had it, he wouldn't give it to her. He's saying he's a little down and out right now. You understand? And she broke up with him. She broke up with him. She broke up with him specifically for that reason, because he sent that $20. And she said, listen, y'all, reasons like this is why women stay single and shit like that. Clowned him. She could have just broke up with him and left it at that. It's her decision. If you want to stay with somebody or break up with somebody because you felt like they couldn't help you the way you needed help or whatever the case is, other people got their own reasons. She could have broke up with that man and left it at that. But she took it a step further by posting that up there. I mean, she did block out his face so people wouldn't see the face or whatever. I, for one, I definitely feel like it's she was kind of unappreciative, ungrateful. You understand? I'm not no damn fool. We know the economy is a damn mess right now. There's plenty of people who would need help and would, accept it, could use it in a heartbeat, right? Of course, a lot of people like, nah, I'm gonna just have to suffer because I ain't going out like that. I don't need nothing from nobody. That's why a lot of people on the streets, because they like, listen, I ain't going to no family or nothing like that. It's gonna be whatever. Maybe in her mind, it's like, you a cheap nigga. You really did have it, and you chose to send me what you sent me. Because you can only take these situations for face value. And she pretty too. She kind of, she got some looks on her or whatever. And I hate to say this, but she kind of got it. She kind of remind me of one of those women who would break up with you over some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That shit probably sound harsh as hell, but I'm just saying if when you when you're a man, right? Sometimes you could look at a woman and you could tell that sometimes a woman you just get a vibe just from looking in her eyes. That type to want something specific, and if you ain't got that, then she ain't fucking with you at all. But of course, I gotta say, not all women is like that. Most people they'll get up here, they gonna talk about the opposite sex, but they don't say not all men is like that, and not all women is like that. They gonna put every single last one of them in a box. They gonna say what they say, and they be sounding so miserable, fam. It be sounding terrible sometimes. Like at the end of the day, we all human. We all trying to survive. Like all I'm saying, the only thing I'm saying is she ain't had to do all that. She ain't had to post that up there like that. If you felt like it was necessary for you to break up with this man alone because he couldn't do more, do exactly what you wanted, okay, that's your prerogative. I'll never sit here and tell another person, "Oh, you wrong for breaking up with that man for that." That's what she felt like doing. Rent was due. I ain't gonna lie though, I did leave one comment under the post though. Only thing I said, okay, I get it. You broke up with him. You put that out there. You broke up with him. You let everybody know you broke up with him. Did you at least send the $20 back? That was my only concern after all of that. I'm like, okay, I see you, sister. I get it. I understand. You needed more than that. Rent was due. But since that's only a little bit of money and you feel so insulted, you shouldn't feel so insulted to where you can't send that $20 back. Now, let me ask you, do you think that she sent that $20 back, honestly? Because it's amazing that people would shit on you for helping out so little, but I bet you they won't send that shit back, though. Something to think about. Reasons like that. You're right. She right about that, though. Reasons like that is why we all stay single. Some women feel like men don't do enough, and some men feel like no matter what we do, it's never going to be appreciated. It don't matter how far you go. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the theme of a man. It's like we try so hard, we try to do the right thing. But it's like when it boils down to it, it's only the things that we didn't do that gets highlighted. You understand? Single men and women out here. Don't nobody want to put up with the opposite sex at all. Some people make it so obvious they got platforms where they're really like bashing the opposite. You understand? I ain't gonna never bash. The purpose of being with somebody is that they, bring some type of value to your life and not just financially. Not just financially. We're talking about a partner. We're talking about somebody who you building with. So it's like, even though financial is a part of it, you still want to be happy with that person. But there are people who just look at it as kind of like a contractual situation, but that's more so marriage. You know? Like I remember I heard this one chick, she said it's all about the money. That's her prerogative. That's her prerogative, whatever the case. I ain't hating on it. But and she was real, like pretty, like kind of had like that superficial type of look too. So that's why I say sometimes you can tell when you're dealing with that type of person. All you gotta do is listen to the first few words that come out their mouth. You know what I mean? Pay attention to their tone, facial expressions, and everything. I'm telling you, time you learn these type of things, and sometimes you just understand. I think I understand what this person is looking for. And I'm telling you, I'm saying this for everybody's sake. Pay attention to that shit because it might save your ass. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to end up in a situation where you did so much for a person to where you can't even afford to do for yourself. You did so much for a person. You did a lot. They know you did a lot. But at the end of the day, they end up breaking up with you because of that one time you couldn't come through. Even though I try not to judge, I ain't gonna lie, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Because when you go on to the next nigga and you go on talking to your girlfriends about how to break up and all that, when make sure you tell them, yeah, he was holding me down for a couple of years though. It was just this one time. Make sure you tell him that though. Don't go around here lying on me saying I wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's all we ask. I try. Shit, I can come through every single time, but majority of the time, oh yeah, those moments don't get highlighted. I'm very cautious and very careful. When I was a teenager, I was way more thirsty than I am now. I'm not thirsty like that no more. You know, understand? I make sure that people know that, listen, I like you, you cool and everything, you fine and all of that. But please don't think I'm one of these niggas who's gonna be like in palm, all in your palms and shit. Never that. When you try to play that person like that, just remember it can happen to you, and there's a good chance it might, depending on who you're dealing with. Because I definitely believe in giving the same energy back. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's good energy, if it's negative energy. If it's negative, I'm probably gonna stop fucking with you, get away. But I'm gonna test it out first. I'm gonna see, are you trying to play with me or something? Is that what you're doing? You know what I mean? But that's why people stay single, man, because you don't even want to have to deal with all that. For what? You was happy than you. The goal was to possibly be happier with somebody than you was when you were single. But really, they toxic, and you're more depressed. You more upset now than you was when you were single. You're more unhappier now than you was when you were single. Why would you want to deal with that person? For damn sure, be careful. Be careful who y'all sleep with, man. I understand. I don't, once again, we all grown. So, like, who don't like sex, right? Like, who does not like interacting sexually with the opposite sex? What happened was you got the man and the woman. The dude, he's taking care of the lady. He don't mind it, but he's also trying to get somewhere in life. Like he's building himself up. So he's trying to follow his dream, get to where he's trying to get to while taking care of his lady. He never really complained about her just spending the money, not really doing too much. But then she got so comfortable with it that she would expect him to do certain things all the time. And it got to a point where this one situation where he went and bought himself a camera that he had been wanting for so long. And she was asking him for a certain amount that he didn't have because he had went and put money on the camera. So it's like that one time he decided to do something good for himself. He didn't do what he usually does for her because she get that all the time. So he went, he put the money on the camera. Something he wanted, that one thing he wanted for himself. So she was upset at him. And he felt bad that she had got upset at him because he's like, I was asking you for this and that. You didn't have it. She didn't really, even though she didn't really care about him wanting the camera, she was very selfish about it. But you're dealing with a different type of dude. You know what he did? He went, he sold the camera. He pawned the camera so that he could give her the money to do what she was wanting to do with it. To look out for her, he put himself dead last again, like he was so used to. Sold the camera that he was saving up for. Even while holding her down all that time, he still managed to put money to the side to finally get that expensive ass camera. He finally went and got it, and she gave him shit for that, right? He said, here you go, I can only get this amount for. He couldn't even get a decent, pawn shop. I don't know if you ever been to a pawn shop or not. It's been like a decade plus since I've been to a pawn shop because it don't matter what you bring in there, they're going to always jip the fuck out you. They're going to always get your ass somehow, some way. He took it back, came back, gave her the money, boom. I couldn't get exactly what you was asking me for, but here, take this. Hopefully that'll help. Different type of dude, because most brothers will be like, no, fuck that. This the only time I can do something for myself. You out of luck this time. You know what I'm saying? I got you next time, though, right? It was something specific she wanted to do with the money. But what she did was she went and got her nails and shit like that done. And he couldn't believe it. He was like, you mean tell me after you gave me all this brief by not looking out for you to do right by you, like I always have. He gave her the money after he sold the camera that he personally been wanting. She took the money and she didn't do what she said she was going to do with the money in the first place. She went and got her nails and she went and bought what was it, a dress or something like that? And he was like, wait a minute, you went and did that with the money after you told me you was going to do, right? He couldn't believe it. She got nervous. She said, well, baby, this is for you. That's looking good for you. This, that, and the third. And he was like, nah, that's not what you told me you wanted the money for, though. I just went and sold something that I was saving up for and got gypped. They gypped the fuck out of me just now for this camera at the pawn shop. went down there in the quickness and sold that camera. It was a slap in the face for the price that they gave him compared to the price he paid, because he wanted to give her, he wanted to look out for his lady. One of them brothers that really put his lady first. And it came back and it bit him in his ass. So for the women that don't understand why men go back and forth about, listen, you can only do so much for a woman. You got to know when to like limit yourself on what you're doing for, for certain people and things like that. You might be dealing with somebody who don't appreciate. But what ended up happening was, she was cheating and shit like that. She was like, nah, I ain't in the mood. I'm tired. So he ends up finding a damn condom in the bed and all of that. They end up breaking up. She ended up dealing with the dude she was sleeping with. And that dude turned out to be 10 times worse than he was. The dude wasn't holding her down the way she was used to. He had her ass out there working multiple jobs while he was smashing her friend, all of this shit. So she had gave up the man that was treating her like a queen. She realized what she was missing out on. She realized that she really gave up a jewel for a piece of shit. And it drove her crazy. It drove her crazy when she found out that the man ended up marrying somebody else that she knew. He had a baby. It was years later. The man ended up finally making it to his dream. Like he ended up becoming a producer or whatever, like he was trying to do with her. He was just like, yo, just work with me. I'm trying to get somewhere in life. I just need you to be understanding of that. She wasn't trying to play a role and be understanding that I'm doing this for you and me. Wasn't good enough for her. She was just so busy spending up the money, spending up the money. If he ain't have it, going off on him, cheating on him and all of that. Ended up marrying a doctor and all of that. And the girl went crazy. She went so crazy that she ended up, long story short, she ended up shooting the dude's wife. She went so crazy to where she found out where they was at, broke in their house, and she was like holding their, she had broken these people's house, holding the baby like, you supposed to be mine. This is supposed to be my baby. All of that crazy shit, right? She was about to jump off the damn bridge and everything. But she ended up in prison. And she ended up in prison due to what she did. That was on her. Because you hear about these type of situations, men and women. I always got to say that. Because I don't want nobody coming to my comments saying, oh, you sound so sexist. Men and women both have the ability to not be shit. Got men and women who will talk about the opposite sex in a way where it's like, they don't have their own flaws. Not all men are the same. You know that. Not all women are the same. You know that. But it's just like the good ones end up hooking up with the shitty ones. You know what I'm saying? The good ones end up dealing with the shitty ones, and that's just how we be playing out. Some shit like that is happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Tell me I'm lying. Like I always say,